Hello guys, my name is Rangga. I am the first speaker from group 3 and I want to talk about what is code. Code is a term which refers to a variety. Pujo Sudarmo Indra Hadi 2001 states that code can be defined as a speech system and of the language element which has specific characteristics in line with the speaker's background, the relationship between the speaker and the situation. Code can be said not only as a language but also as the varieties of a language, including dialect, creole, and style. Code must be understood between speakers and his interlocutors. If speaker can understand what the interlocutors say, so the interlocutor can take a decision and do as what he must do by Mateda in 1987. According to Wardell, 1998, he said that code is a system agreed which is used by at least two persons. Code is an instrument to make an interaction. Code is defined as a language or variety of a language. Code as a language means the system agreed by people to communicate one with another. It refers to some language used by bilingual or multilingual members of the society. However, code as a variety of language refers to style shifting in one language. For example, the use speech in level in Japanese language. There are three kinds of speech level. They are Krama, Ngoko, and Madhya. Their use depends on some social and cultural dimensions such as age, sex, social class, and relationship between the speaker. And that's all from the definition.
Guys, I will explain to you about diglosia. What is diglosia? Diglosia is situation in which a community uses two different languages or two significantly different varieties of one language for different situations. Here is the varieties of diglosia. So diglosia has two types of varieties. The first type is high variety and the second is low variety. And I will explain what is high variety and low variety. Include the example. So what is the meaning of high variety? High variety is the language used for more formal situation. It is the language that is learned at school formally. And speakers learn how to write in the language and they learn the formal grammar rules of the language. In many cases, the community considers this high variety to be the pure or correct from the language. And the high variety is often considered to correct variety and is prevented for changing aloud. And then what is low variety? So low variety is the dialect or language that is used for daily communication. It means that it's not formally learned. And the speakers don't formally learn its grammar or how to write in the languages. And the low variety is more flexible and it's more likely to change over time because it's not restricted by the rules of the high variety. Okay, let's move to characteristic of diglosia. Ferguson lists 9 specific characteristics of diglossia language situation involving function, prestige, literary heritage, acquisition, standardization, morphology, syntax, lexicon, and phonology of the high and low variety. Okay, here is features of diglossia. Diglossia has been used both in a narrow and in much broader sense. In the narrow and original sense of the term, it has 3 crucial features. First is, 2 distinct varieties of the same language are used in the community, with one regarded as high variety and the other of low variety. Symbol of high variety is H and symbol of low variety is L. Second is, each variety is used for quite distinct function. H and L complement each other, or high and low complement each other. Third is, no one uses the H variety in everyday conversation. So, as we know that high variety usually used in formal situation, and then in everyday conversation we usually use informal situation. So that's why H variety no one use in everyday conversation. From the material and other source, what I got from the diglossia is 2 kind languages, or different languages we use depends on situation. Like in the formal situation we should use a high variety, and in informal situation we usually use low variety. So this is the meaning of diglossia. Okay, that's enough for my explanation about diglossia. If you don't understand more, you can ask to me, or maybe you can search any source. Thank you very much.
Hello mate, I'm Regy here. I'd like to tell you about bilingualism. So what is it? According to Robert Olado, bilingualism is a phenomenon in which a person can speak more than one language. So bilingualism is the ability to speak 2 languages with equal or nearly as good. So there are 3 types of bilingualism. Here are
coordinate bilinguals. Coordinate bilinguals are those people who have learned both languages in different environments. The languages would most probably be used for different functions. If a person learns Urdu in Pakistan and English from the Britain, then he will be called a coordinate bilingual. Such people have separate systems for each language in their minds, so the words and concepts of each language will be kept in the mind separately. Confound bilinguals. Confound bilinguals are those people who have learned both languages from the same environment. The languages would not have separate system in the mind, but they will have one system. The concept will be kept in one box in their mind, while the word will be different for both languages. So we have same system of concepts in our minds, but the only thing which changes is the words or vocabulary items of 2 separate languages. Subordinate bilinguals. Subordinate bilinguals are those people who have learned a second language and cannot understand it without the help of their first language. Such people will translate the words of second language in their mother tongue, then they will be able to understand them. So we can say that the concept in mind will remain in one system, that is the system of mother tongue. But an additional language is attached to that system through mother tongue. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Adhika and Faiz. Here I would like to tell you about multilingualism. Are you patient for that? Let's get started. Okay, let's see the slide, the PowerPoint. Multilingualism is the ability of an individual speaker or a community of speakers to communicate effectively in 3 or more languages. So this contrasts with monolingualism, the ability to use only one language. Multilingualism refers more to the description of a speaker who masters more than 2 languages. It can be 3 languages or 4, even 5 languages at a time. Its use is almost the same as bilingualism, which is to know when and where a language will be used. For example, Javanese. In addition to being able to speak Javanese as their mother tongue, can also speak in Indonesian as a second language and English as a third language. There are even some who can speak Japanese, Dutch, Holland, and so on. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So hello guys, I'm Viera Safira, the last speaker in this presentation. So I would like to tell you about code switching. Code switching is a change that do by someone speak from one language to other language, said Miahun Huhulmun, 1985. And according Walyagen Christian, 2012, code switching can occur even between sentences in the sentence, involves a phrase or word or even parts of words. In other hands, code switching occurs when someone uses 2 languages simultaneously. Hoffman, 1991, shows some types of code switching based on the juncture and scope of switching where language takes place. Okay, the first type is intrasentential switching. Intrasentential is code switching within a clause or sentence. In this case, the speaker may switch parts of clause, phrase, or even morphemes. Intrasentential is code switching in which switches occur between a clause or sentence boundary. For example, you are mengupgrade this application. In this case, the speaker used the Indonesia progressing morpheme meng rather than the English ing. The grammatical boundaries for this are similar in English and Indonesia, and so the code switching works. The second type is intersentential switching. It is code switching that happens between clause or sentence boundary. In this case, an entire clause or sentence is in one language, but the speaker switch to another language for a subsequent clause or sentence. For example, meja itu berpindah tempat, did you move it? In this example, the first clause is Indonesia, and then it switched the code using English clause. And the last type is tag switching. Tag switching is code switching with sentence tag that they precede or follow a sentence. This involves the insertion of a tag in one language into an utterance that is otherwise entirely in the other. For example, pakaian di toko itu mahal, isn't it? The words isn't it in English is a tag. Hoffman also tells us about 10 functions of code switching. The first one is to talk about a particular topic, and then to quote somebody else, to provide emphasis about something, to make an interjection, to repeat in order to clarify, to express group identity, to show intention of clarifying speech content for interlocutor, to soften or strengthen a request or command, to meet a real lexical need or to compensate for lack of an equal translation, and to exclude others when a comment is intended for an exclusive audience. So, that's all from us. Thanks for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.